All right, Senior Living Task Force, come on up.
We're afraid to now.
No, we share.
Morning, gentlemen. Dale.
Morning.
Thanks for continuing this saga. We've got a couple of things. One would be a contract with the architect. One is getting that fund transferred.
Okay.
So we definitely need to get the fund transfer thing taken care of first.
I have an email message from John Mapes. I also have a copy of a letter or an email that he sent to the county attorney. We need to make a motion to create a resolution to transfer funds, and then we need to make a motion for a resolution to create a Home for the Aged bond fund.
Okay.
May I ask?
Pardon?
What is the purpose of the bond fund?
So we can front load a little bit of end of year money into that.
I thought that's what the Home for the Aged capital improvement fund.
So I have John Mapes' letter here. We'll see that did you get a copy of this?
Yes, and it doesn't really make sense on the accounting side of it, why we need a separate fund for it. The money used to Home for the Aged multi-year capital improvement fund. When it comes time to make the bond payment, which is down the road, I'm assuming for a while, but the money would be transferred from the capital improvement back into the Home for the Aged fund and make that payment.
So we wouldn't need that.
Because the capital improvement fund can't be used to pay bonds, but it could be transferred back into the fund,
Could be transferred back into the bond fund.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll need a motion then on that.
Well, back into the Home for the Aged.
Right.
I guess if you really need another account, that's just,
Well, you will end up with another account. You will end up with another account.
okay. Can you explain to me
Because
why?
it's a different statute in the Kansas, what would it be? No, I don't have one for the bond fund. I don't have that statute. I wish he would have put that in his message, what it was.
Well, I sent John an egg question last night as to
Yeah.
whether the bond, just to make sure that the bond could be paid out of the Home for the Aged fund. All we need to do is.
They can't be. They can't be paid out of that multi-year.
I'm not talking about the multi-year one. I'm talking about just the Home for the Aged.
See, and that's what John had in that original budget for 2017 was the $6 million for bond payment. I said we weren't ready
Yeah.
to take it out, so he did, but now we find out that we need that.
Well, let's
Back
tackle
in.
the
That's why you were
transfer.
going to bring it in, bring a transfer from oil depletion to make up for that for the 2017 year.
But why make that transfer in 2016 if it's a 2017 expense?
Because the funds are available now. And this board has been
But we have
feverishly.
available funds in the capital improvement to use for that expense.
Well, there's not enough to cover this contract.
There's $400 and some thousand dollars in it right now. But
Well, do we need Nicole back here to explain it? The way I understand it, we need to transfer $480,196 from the oil and gas fund to the multi-year Home for the Aged fund.
How much?
Right.
Not the 481,
Pardon?
not the 480.
264?
480, that should be, I think that's a misquote there. I think it's 464.
I think we should have it.
264, 251.
264, okay, 264.
951.
I had Carol Sloper bring
Is it?
I had Carol Sloper.
Oh, there it
bring
is,
the
okay.
speakerphone So that
Yeah.
if we needed to do
Yeah.
a phone conference today with the auditor, we could, that we would have a good device to use. Would you, I don't know if Mr. Mapes is available.
I don't
We could-
either,
We could sure try.
but I think all we have to do is make a motion for a
transfer.
resolution for this amount.
Right, and that's what you guys are requesting, correct?
Yeah,
I agree.
and we discussed it the last time.
Right.
So
Okay.
that means there's three accounts. There would be the multi-year capital improvement fund, there would be a bond fund, and then there would be a regular fund. Is that,
No,
Yes, that's what you're doing. You're setting up three funds for them, and I don't understand on my part what the third fund is needed for. I can't understand why we have to have another fund.
which fund, is it the Home for the Aged that is in the budgeted amount each year?
Right.
Is that your question? Okay, we have to have that because of the contract with Good Samaritan.
The new one that you're wanting to create,
Pardon?
why are we needing to create a new one?
We need to,
I know why we have the one that we have, why we have the two that we have, but why are we needing?
we will need a
separate
bond fund at a later date. That would be the third one, if that's the way you're looking at it.
Can you explain to me why?
There's a different statute for paying for bonds. You can't pay interest and principal for bonds out of your multi-year Home for the Aged Improvement Fund.
I know that. But it could be paid out of the Home for the Aged fund.
No,
Okay.
and you're doing this on the direction of the auditor, right?
right,
Yes.
yeah.
So it appears that he's the one that
approving
has
they
that.
can do this. I mean, it's, go ahead, I'll just do it. I don't understand it, but
Okay, I'll make a motion for a resolution to transfer $264,951 from the oil and gas depletion trust fund to the multi-year Home for the Aged Capital Improvement Fund.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and that'll get you guys going on that.
And then we can iron out
Okay.
her recommendation here about a bond fund.
Okay.
I mean, there's no reason to pull her out of the courtroom for that. I mean,
Okay,
But
I think that's the next stage in this.
we did want to make you aware, this contract, the original for the architect, this is actually less money than the original one. When we had to redo it, it actually lowered these fees, so this is a little better deal than what we had originally told you, so.
well, we all have to save money.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was good news,
That is good news.
It requires your signature. I see Grant didn't sign it, so I'll, you'll need a copy of this. So, we meet with Grant next Monday, so I'll bring a copy back with his signature at that
Thank you.
time.
Is this for her?
Well, Grant didn't sign it,
Okay,
so I'll have him sign it Monday
okay.
and bring a copy.
And one other thing that I did think of on the way over, and I haven't even talked to Dave about this, but there's some demolition and some tree removal that'll be required. They've put in it a pretty good amount to do that, because they're talking about outside contractors having to bring equipment in and all that. And I think if the county did that, we could save a pretty sizable amount of money, if we could use it, the equipment to do that. But we don't know how much and when yet, so.
Right. Can any of those buildings be moved and utilized somewhere else?
Just that one, there's one that's, the only one we're taking out is.
There's one we're taking down, but
The rest
it's
are the
brick
same.
and it's on a poured slab.
Okay,
So,
so it's just gonna break up
Yeah.
after, okay.
And there's some trees and just some general cleanup type of thing that I forget the thousands of dollars that they was at for an
That would-
outside contractor that we can certainly save some money with.
We can save some money by using county
Oh,
owners, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
So we'll check.
And the
that.
same with site prep. I mean, as far as getting dirt in, they want, as far as the building site, they will want to do that because they've got their compaction.
And they gotta have it
Stuff.
so compact.
It's got to meet their,
Right.
I wrote it in stone that we can have the dirt, so.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you
Yep.
for your work.
I don't know that I'm following all that either, other than Rodney says they got to go along with there's a statute, so I'm going with that.
Lauren White did call, and he would like approval from the board to purchase a slide-in unit for their fire truck. They've ordered a fire truck for 2017. He checked with Dan Blair, and Dan confirmed that there was money left in equipment. I know, when he says equipment, I'm not sure whether he means equipment reserve or where. I'd have to run a report. But anyway, the slide-in unit costs $12,000. And according to Dan, there's $18,000 in the budget. So he was wanting the board's approval for that.
Okay. If it's budgeted, I don't have any problem.
No, I don't have any problem
Okay.
on that.
We'll need a motion.
Do we need a motion
Yeah.
to approve
Yes,
it?
sir.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve up to 18,000
Well,
12.
12,000.
12,000,
For
okay.
slide-in tank.
for the sliding what?
Slide-in tank as well.
Slide-in tank, okay. Out of the
Fire department equipment.
fire department equipment account.
For Bridge City, okay.
I'll say.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Alright, we need to check and see where he's, is he scheduled?
And they were coming from Hayes. So, Dolores had also, I wish she would have stayed, these transfers, payroll needs to be signed.
Did we approve payroll?
Yes.
Yes. I would like to reiterate, on payroll, 2 employees, and I want it on record, that it is the decisions of the board that have caused the changes in their payroll checks. There's a great deal of hostility that is unwarranted, and in making that decision to pay, and this is what I said earlier, in making the decision to pay monthly and the decision to pay hourly, which was a Board of Commission decision, this is how it affects employees. So we spent a lot of time getting your wishes accommodated through payroll. But Shirley delivered payroll to some departments, and there was a great deal of hostility in the workforce that is just not acceptable. The payroll department is trying to accommodate the decisions of this board in how they manage employees.
Okay.
So,
Come on up, sir.
Oh, you ready for it?
Yep.
Oh, well, there we go.
good morning.
Hey, whoa, look at that. Did I put,
Extra.
oh, I guess you got the bonus one. Don't know that it's worth anything. Well, Commissioners, thank you for making some time this morning. I reached out to Brad, I think, sorry to catch you at work,
That's
but
fine.
I guess catching you at work is a good place to catch you, huh? I think I've met most everybody, time or two.
Yeah.
And the reason we're here before you is because we learned some news about the funding that you all have provided for developmental services, and more specifically, or more generally, for individuals with developmental disabilities. And I thought, if I might, give a little bit of not history, but a little bit of background on how our system and the community system in which we operate and have for. We'll be celebrating our 50th year starting next year. It's very important to know, I think, for you as commissioners, that we don't set rates that we receive to provide the services. We don't set them. We do not have taxing authority to create resources to provide services. We work with the state primarily through Medicare and Medicaid. That funding has been woefully stagnant for almost a decade now. I think we've reported this out. I know I have every year. That hasn't changed. Our role and our commitment to providing services remains the same. We're a not-for-profit, and our responsibilities are to be there when families and people who don't ask for the disability present themselves, and we support them. For Cheyenne County, the unfortunate reality of inadequate funding from the state has led to the closing of one of our homes in Atwood. And what is the significance of that on Cheyenne County was one of the folks from this county was receiving services there. As we closed the home, we offered services in the next most appropriate spot that we had. It wasn't in a place where that person wanted to go. Surprise, surprise. Difficult decisions. That person is no longer receiving a direct service from us. They actually moved to the community of Goodland, and they receive support there through an affiliated provider. That's the fruit of the diminished system that we face. So as we come to you all as commissioners each year, and I can't say, maybe Bonnie knows, when we first came to Cheyenne County, but my guess is it's decades ago. And we came because of our inability to just generate funds ourselves. We do fundraising. We kind of implemented a legacy society in the last 2 years. We're studying the feasibility of a capital campaign, whatever we can do to try to infuse resources that have been needed for many years that have not materialized. So we continue to do that. So to our surprise, we learned that the county has no intention of funding the services that we offer as a community partner. that's very troubling to me. Under the statutes, I believe it's 39, 1801 and on, it identifies community services. That's what we are. That's who we are. We don't get funds from hospitals. We don't, it doesn't work that way. And so we're committed to providing services to individuals. The difficult nature of where we're at today is we know our rates have been flat. Since 2008, there's been no change. We work with the state. They are to study rates and adequacy of rates every couple of years. They just, in the last year, we've gone through that process. Their rate study, we met with them, and their rate study had some problems with it. They didn't do the math right in some ways. So we had another firm that also shared some insight and to identify the issues with the rates. Well, we know our state budget is in a financial, it's a mess. Revenue's down. I think to date we're over 80 million down in revenue estimate shortfalls. You project that out and it makes for a bigger hole. So what does that mean for our services? Well, we know that on July 1 they cut 2 of our services by 4%. Okay, what does that mean for us? It means a $16,500 reduction in our targeted case management funding. It means over $41,000 cut in our ICFMR services, which are what we provide in Norton, in the Norton community. There was an individual policy, a residential pay policy, that was put into effect. It's actually been questioned by many across the state as to its appropriateness. I am one of those. We don't know exactly what that reduction could, but it could be as much as 140 plus thousand as a reduction. So our system has been just battered over the years and most recently now. I say that not as a guilting mechanism. It is the reality that we face. The people we serve are among our most vulnerable people. The presumption among some in our system is that they can take care of themselves, fix something for them one time, and then they'll just manage. If they need medication support, get them a medication minder and wish them well. That's not the way it works in long-term, lifelong supports. That's what we do. We have federal changes that are bearing down. The Department of Labor, I'm sure it's probably touched the county. We've got exempt staff, non-exempt staff, and that new threshold that was put into place.
That's hurting us.
It's a huge challenge. And so now we are faced with no new revenues, a law that requires us to do something about those management positions that we have that have been below that threshold. Commissioners, what are we to do? I mean, so we come to you. Our request in July was, please hold us harmless. We know that the gap was even bigger, but we're trying to do our very best, and we've appreciated your support all along. But that support didn't go away. Actually, based on state policy, perhaps even federal policy, the burden has been shifted down to the local levels, which is here. Our commitment remains. We work very hard. Bonnie has been on our board from day one, and I'd stand for any questions you have, but I'd like to give Bonnie an opportunity to say something.
The reason I'm here is Proverbs 31, verse 8, speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. I've always been proud to be from Cheyenne County. But when I found out you were not funding the most innocent, helpless of our citizens, I was very disappointed. I want to know where that money went that should have gone to developmental services. Who did you give it to?
We didn't give it to anybody, man. We were cutting.
Where is it?
We were cutting the overall budget because we had been requested by the residents of this county. They did not like the cost of paying for the budget that we had the last couple of years. And we made a bunch of cuts.
Did you cut
Those had to be.
everybody down to zero?
No, ma'am, we did not.
Why did we get cut to zero?
I don't think we even looked at it that way.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
You didn't take into consideration, these are people. These are the very ones that are not able to take care of themselves. Do you have children?
I do.
We looked at it when we were looking at it, we were looking at our high tax mill levy. Okay, we looked at it, you guys are federally funded and state funded. We did this to another organization that we're going to take another look at. But you guys are state and federally funded $93,283.48. And we were funding you guys the $8,400. So when we look at that you guys are getting subsidized by the state, and we're looking at the other number, and we're having citizens that are mad at us, and quoting Bible verses to us as well, about how can this be legal to charge us this many taxes? And my taxes at my office, my chiropractic office, have more than doubled since '06. We had to take a look at this.
I also pay taxes, but
Right.
I want to know what you would do if your child were all at once said, you're not going to be funded, you're going to, these children are not children, these adults, some of them can't even feed themselves. They can't take care of themselves. I don't think you looked at that part of it. I think you looked at cutting the funds, and I understand that. I'm a farmer. I
Right.
found that out. But you can't do that to these people. They've got to have help.
Okay. It was not anything discriminatory or anything like that. We were looking at the total overall number. And
Well,
part of
but
that
maybe
is,
you should have looked at the person, because I've been there. I've been when there was no help and you didn't know what you were going to do.
right.
And I just don't understand how this went clear to zero.
Well, we cut another organization down to zero that we thought was funded through our hospital and
What
found
was
out
this one? We thought this was
this one is funded through federal and state, but we were picking up the gap. They were requesting $921.26. We used to subsidize them $8,480. But when we're looking at the overall number, $93,283.48 is what you guys are being subsidized. We looked at
That
it.
is, when you say subsidized, don't mean to interrupt. That
That's fine.
is the funding that we receive. That's-
Right.
it-
I'm not trying to be argumentative. We're going to look at this a little bit more, okay? We're going to look at the other organization that we thought was being subsidized that is not, okay? We as commissioners are responsible for tax dollars. We've seen a major increase due to what I think is a lack of, people are not shopping in St. Francis, okay? I looked at it as a personal citizen and found a way to try to help. And trying to get people to St. Francis to try to spend their monies is where I see helping. I didn't like making any cuts, but we were staring down the barrel of a 45 on this one, okay? Because our taxes have went up exponentially. Since '06, they have doubled. So as a commissioner, when we're sitting there, and we tried to do some stuff last year. So we will look at this and see if we can help more. But
That's not an answer. We will look at this. I've been told this year after year after year. Go on, Bonnie, go ahead. We'll look at it. Well, you look at it, but then you don't do anything. And you can't do this because these are human beings.
You know, if I might add, our efforts of communication with the state, that I believe is wherein lies the challenge. What we come to you all is with the gap of when it doesn't equal what it's supposed to equal at the state level. The state level, now I'm preaching to the choir here, the state has the ability to set the rate and draw on a 40 cent on the dollar to pay for those services. When they don't do that part, then we come back to you as local boards and funders to try to help shore up the gap. So when that gap gets wider because of lack of activity at the other side, then the burden, it's like probably many things that have hit the counties, you know, and that's tax policy, and we continue to work with our legislators to say we've got to do something about that because the roll down the hill doesn't help anything here.
right.
So, but I think it's an important perspective. We know that is where I've said to our commissioners throughout the 18 counties, if we can solve that problem there, it lessens the burden on the local level. And trust me, I make so many trips to Topeka to have those
Right.
conversations about those very issues.
What do you guys have any comments? What are you thinking?
If we can come up with the money, we can fund it, but we gotta figure out where the hell it's coming from.
Well, that's not a solution. I
That's
want
all
to
we
know
got
what
to
your
offer.
solution is for these people that we are trying to take care of. If we go kerplunk, are you going to take care of them? Is
I
there
don't-
one of you going to volunteer to take one of these citizens?
I guess, ma'am, I don't mean to be this way, but when you start throwing scripture at me because I am a Christian man, I think it's a low blow because you guys are getting $93,283.48. I'm telling you, we will look at our budget and if we can do it, and these guys agree, we will do it. But I cannot tell you right now without looking at the budget what we can do.
Well, I
okay?
didn't understand why it went to zero.
Because we realized that you guys were getting state and federal funding, and we were looking at cutting taxes.
But we also, these people are citizens of Cheyenne County.
That I understand. But the only thing I can tell you is that we will look at this. I have another phone call to make later today to another organization that we were completely wrong as a board, that are not getting any extra funding, and we do not want to lose this service either. But when we're looking through and we're going through our taxes or our budgets, and we're trying to cut as much as we can so we can get more local businesses in town and start growing as a community and reverse this curve that we're in, I will apologize, but in order for us to grow as a county, we have got to do something about our taxes. We can't tax our local businesses the way we are. My taxes at my chiropractic office have more than doubled since '06. It's hard to keep the doors open. If we can get more things going, get these taxes lowered, we're not only going to pull in more businesses, but we're going to reverse this negative curve. And I'm sorry that your organization is in on this, and I give you my word, we are going to look at this. I'm not going to be able to give you an answer right now because I don't have the numbers. But I did address another organization earlier. We are going to see if the hospital will actually help out a little bit with that funding. If they would help out with the funding, it would make a clear-cut answer. I know some of these people that you guys help, and my hat's off to you. But it's better, like I told you on the phone, it's better to put a face with the name. okay? So, are you guys in agreement that we will look at this?
I think we ought to approach the hospital on this.
We are going to, the
And-
clerk
and
has been,
give them
is
an
going to draft
answer
a
in a-
letter
At the next meeting.
asking the hospital board to look into helping subsidize this other organization. If that happens, I don't see why we couldn't help you guys out, okay? I'm sorry, but you guys came shooting from the hip, I gotta shoot from the hip too. I don't mean any disrespect at all to anybody, but as a commissioner, which I'm not gonna be in December anymore, so the thing is you've got to look at the overall picture of what we're trying to do. I am trying to reverse this curve because I want to get my kids to move back here someday, okay? So if you look at the curve, sales tax revenues have just plummeted. And what ends up happening is we've got to subsidize somehow, okay? How can we promote local businesses if we're taxing them so high? So when I went into this year, well, even last year, I looked at it that way. So, but we're all in agreement that we will look at this, and we probably should be able to let you know by next meeting, if that's okay.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay. Do you have anything else, ma'am? I know you didn't get the answer you wanted right now, but I don't have the
I
answer.
still don't understand, so I guess I have to quit, but
What do you not understand? Why it was cut to zero?
yes.
Because we went through.
But you weren't taking in consideration that these are people.
Well, that may be. When we were probably looking at more than numbers. You're not the other organization is not the only one that got cut. We made cuts,
Did you cut them down to zero?
yes. There's a lot of things that we as a county are the bankers on. And
I'm
we
sure
should- and
that's
we- and
right.
Not saying that we shouldn't be helping you guys, so don't get me wrong. I'm giving you an example. We are the bankers. The county is the banker on several different organizations, and we shouldn't be. I don't know when this got started, but it did. These organizations like yours, when you're looking at DSNWK and you're red in the eye because you've been doing these, that's what you're doing is you're doing your budgets and you're tired. It's easy to say, well, this 8,000, but we will relook at it.
I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
but no, you guys are not the only ones that we cut, and we are also, I brought up to the board earlier that we're going to look at some other ones. So,
On a separate note, I would appreciate you sharing your voices with our elected leaders in Topeka about the responsibility to address this issue where it really needs to be addressed. And a few years ago, those that have been on the commission for a while probably remember the resolution that we had
And
a
what
few years ago.
what is the contact on that?
Well, for the 120th, is a new rep would be Adam Smith. Senate side is Rich Billinger.
Rick?
Rick.
Okay.
Thank you. And then, they know, so, well, I do appreciate you taking the time, I don't envy the places that you're in as well, trying to make a balance of this, and I do express my gratitude to Bonnie. Her passion comes from her personal experience in walking through this, and then walking through this period of almost 50 years, being an advocate for others, and that's we appreciate that too. So
I
okay.
know Rick well, so I can talk to him. I don't know Adam Smith. But
Yeah, Wallace County or Sharon Springs.
He's from Sharon Springs?
Yes.
Okay.
Just newly.
He was a Wallace County Commissioner. He's been up here.
Okay.
And just got elected.
We will have an answer for you next
All right,
time.
appreciate it.
And we will take it into very heavy consideration. Okay?
Definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
My favorite is Reggie, he's about 13.5 for our share.
What's that?
But the 20 counties in the south, but what they really need is about 13.5 for our share.
Right. We will
This, by the way, is one of the things we looked at. There's only two people.
Anyway, thank you for what you do and thank you for your passion.
That paper I handed
I don't
can I get that back? Your 100%?
What?
That paper that I handed you guys? There's only one of them, so.
What was it for?
It was on that personal leave.
I handed it down that way, but I'll look at my stuff.
I just wanted to talk to you just a little bit more about employees whenever you get time.
We've got time.
Before you change the subject, I have a question about this UNSWK. So, do they request that through the budget?
Yeah.
Do they request that funding?
Yes,
Appropriation.
It's every year.
it's an appropriation.
So, if they were concerned, why didn't they come to the budget hearing and say, well, where's our money? Isn't
They
that
did.
what the budget?
They
hearing
sent
does?
us a letter in, what was it, May? And there's two people involved. We did look at that.
You think it'll move that fast?
I don't know.
I don't know if it'll move that fast. So your letter that you want drafted, you just want to request the hospital to pay.
See if
help
they would take
partial
over or partial payment to High Plains Mental Health due to,
And developmental services.
I think developmental services, if we do that, well,
I understand that.
Hey, they'll take it on, we'll let them have
You
it.
know, High Plains Mental Health is the same way.
That was the
The
latest
clinic that
data
was
they
established over
Well, they
there,
give us that.
if they don't have the funding from the county, they'll probably
We
have
had,
to close.
what, 3 or
that's,
4 of them?
I don't want to
That's
lose
my-
High Plains Mental Health. I don't really want to lose these people.
I mean, you're a
I'm
taxpayer
looking
too.
at it, they're getting almost $100,000 and, you know, I'm sorry. I want to be able to help them both, but we'll just.
Understand, your budget for next year has been set.
Yeah,
Your-
we would, if we were to do something, we'd have to find the funds someplace else.
Yes.
Or, and I don't want to do this, no, I won't even
If
make
you go
that.
to amend the budget, we have to have a special hearing, we have to,
I
and that's
know it.
gonna postpone
Yeah.
getting the taxes out, which we're trying to do right now. So your decision is, will affect a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, we can send a letter over to the hospital board and see if they'll partly fund that or fund it.
If
What
they
do you
would-
think?
Yeah, if they would pick that up.
I mean, we're giving them over 600,000 in a year.
I
For
don't-
crying out loud.
I think that would be, I don't know, what do you guys
That's
think about?
something maybe you should have asked Scott when he was here this morning,
Yeah,
because
it completely,
they are going to be having their budget meeting at the hospital, and so that,
Well, he gave us a single sheet of paper, 2 or 3 weeks late beyond what the statute called for, and he asked for 6 mills, period. He didn't give us any explanation of how he wanted it spent. Now they're getting around to deciding how it's going to be spent.
Right.
That should have been presented to us back in July.
well, I
You
guess,
might tell us, but it's only gonna be about 2% of what we give them.
okay.
and are we going to ask them to do the developmental services too? So
Right, what did the other one want? How much money?
I don't remember how much High Plains Mental Health was, but I don't want to lose either one.
It's
of
gonna
those.
be less than 5% of the total.
Right.
For both of them.
I don't want to lose either one of these, but guys, when I'm looking at numbers and one's getting $93,000 and the other one's not getting anything.
Anything,
I'm-
yeah. I know where you're coming from.
And there's something that just burns me to my bone that happened during that meeting that just makes me, Anyway, so,
What,
Eric,
Does
Dave
Dave
has
have something?
Yes.
On 2 employees. Todd
Executive
Crine.
section.
What?
Oh, we don't need executive, okay.
No.
Okay.
On 2 employees, Todd Crine and Kenneth Rice. They're doing a good job for us. They're only at a class 2. I'd like to be advancing them to a 3.
Okay. I have no problem with that.
No, we need to look at those classification schedules because some of them are out of whack.
Isn't that what the Austin Peters report was about?
No, I'm saying internally. Some of these classifications are different.
What he's saying is some machinery operators that have been there the same amount of years are getting paid different salaries due to the class for some reason. And we've
So we
been
need
going
to
to
get, we
address
need to
that.
get the classifications uniform and then make the adjustments.
They are uniform.
No, they're not.
On all my equipment operators,
According
No,
to this.
they're not.
they are.
Who's your other
I
one,
don't
Dave?
know if I brought them with me, but I had them at the budget meeting.
Well, these two are the same.
This is our standard form for the equipment operators.
Are you wanting to move him up to class 3?
He took his commercial license.
Okay.
Whether we need to have that finalized before we advance it, but we need to be taking a
That
hard
one's
look
the
at it.
same also.
This
Them
is
are
weed
standard
director.
form.
This is equipment and this is equipment. But not all of these are the same.
No, they are. All of them except the foreman.
Do you want to run all of them out of your computer?
I think they are the same. I think Dave has pretty
We'll
much
need 'em.
standardized his equipment operators. Like you said, all except the foreman position.
All of these classifications have been updated and they're all equal now.
They always was.
No, they weren't. I have printed
They always
copies
was
that
on
were
the
different.
equipment operators.
We'll need a motion to kick those 3 gentlemen up.
To a classification 3.
Todd Crine, Ken Rice, and DJ
Okay, I'll make a
Barnhart.
motion that Todd Crine be moved up to classification 3.
Just make all of the motions.
And Kenneth Rice be moved up to classification 3.
Okay, let's do those two because they are equipment operators.
Okay.
Okay,
Do I hear-
Second.
All those in favor signify
Aye.
by saying aye. Aye.
aye.
Okay, and now DJ Barnhart, since he's a different department.
Noxious Weed Director,
Assistant director.
okay, Assistant Director, be moved up to a classification 3.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Okay. As what Nicole said last time, these are not effective until you guys sign them.
I'll sign
So-
it right
And
now.
that'll be on the first of the next pay period.
They will be, I will get them written up and get them into you, and then they can be effective starting December 1st.
Is that okay with you, Dave?
Well,
Okay.
I should say the pay period,
Pay period,
because we just went through this where we were
Yeah.
paying different rates, and it causes a lot of problems.
yeah, and in fact, it's in the minutes,
Yes.
yeah.
Tell them it'll take effect in 2 weeks.
Let's see, we will meet on the 30th, and we can sign these on the 30th. So
Yes.
when would that pay period be?
I'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, it'd start on December 9th.
So the pay increase will start December 9th, is what you're saying then?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I
But-
would wager. Well,
Okay.
she's got one.
I do have one more thing. Dolores asked me last night to draft a multi-year capital improvement fund to establish that 149,000, and you guys didn't make any motions or anything, you just signed these, so.
Make a motion.
But anyway, I have not had a chance to have Nicole review this. I looked up the statute and drafted it. I would feel better if she looked at it
I
before
don't
it
want to
was
sign
signed.
anything.
Yeah,
approve it without her
let's
looking at
hold
it.
that until, we have it in the,
Last time.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
That was in the audit, that to be transferred. I don't even think we have to do that, but let's let Nicole look at it.
Okay.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep.
You guys didn't find that piece of paper that I gave you?
No.